company of about 20 children from the New York Juvenile Asylum from 7 to 15 years of age will be in Rochelle at the Brackett House. Thursday morning, March 6th. Homes are wanted for them with farmers' families in this and adjoining counties where they will receive kind treatment, good moral training and a fair common education. They may be taken on trial for 2 weeks and then under indentures until of age, provided they prove satisfactory. The terms of the indentures are that they shall receive a fair common school education and paid $100 and 2 suits of clothes when of age. This company will consist mostly of boys, and they will be at the hotel at the appointed time without fail. Please meet them on that day. When indentures are executed, a small payment for passage expenses will be required. E-Right Agent, P.S. Inquire at your post office for a handbill giving further particulars. This ad appeared in the Rochelle newspapers in 1879. In 1850, there were thousands of children on the streets of New York with no food and little, if any, supervision. Typhoid fever, yellow fever, and Spanish flu epidemics took the lives of many children and adults alike. Every day there were more and more children who found themselves on the streets. Charles Loring Brace founded the Children's Aid Society in 1853. The purpose of the society was to find homes for the lost children of New York. Mr. Brace had a plan based on systems that he had witnessed in Europe. The city had more people than jobs, and the farmers out west needed laborers. If the West was to be settled, more able-bodied settlers were needed. To Charles Loring Brace, the answer was obvious: transport the street children of New York to the West. From 1854 through 1929, more than 200,000 children were loaded on trains and sent to be housed in the rural plains of America. The logic of the day was that the fresh air and honest labor of the Western farmer was far superior to the squalor of the larger city. Charles Loring Brace was ready to start his grand experiment. Chicago was selected as a placing agency. It was a railroad hub and far enough away from New York that the children could not easily make their way back. Agents of the Children's Aid Society would travel through the Midwest and locate ideal rural communities. Meetings would be held with local civic and religious leaders to form committees to evaluate families wishing to take in one of the children to be placed. Once the committee was in place, the children were taken by train to Chicago and from there transported to the communities to be placed with families. With the local teams in place to evaluate families, the stage was set. Children were scrubbed clean, hair was trimmed, and new clothes were worn. The train would roll into town at the appointed time, and the children would disembark and make their way to a hotel, opera house, or theatre. The children were numbered and stood for review. The local families would feel the child's muscles, check their teeth, and ask them to walk around, watching for any physical problems. If the child met with the family's approval, they would select the child and take them home for a 2-week trial. The children, upon acceptance, would stay with the family until they reached adulthood. For girls, the age was 18, and for boys, the age was 21. Upon reaching adulthood, the male children were to be given $100 and 2 sets of clothes. For females, it was $50 in clothes. For Jim, age 10, and John, age 13, the trip was from New York to Chicago. At the Chicago Placing Center, a Mr. Burright from the Chana area dropped in and selected the 2 boys to help on his farm. Time passed and the 2 boys reached 21. Jim stayed in the area and continued farming. He bought 80 acres of land just north of Illinois, Route 64. Today the family farm exceeds 2,000 acres and the great and great-great-grandchildren still manage Maplehurst Farm. Jim Carmichael even located his birth mother and brought her out to Ogle County. After many years apart, Jim and his mother Jane are both buried at Woodlawn Cemetery in Rochelle.